All right, all right. Good morning. Happy Tuesday, July 8th. Let's get this show on the road. Good morning to everyone. Let's hop right into the charts. Let's take a look at the 4-hour and see what we got today. Man, I'm going to need some coffee today. After a long weekend, you just don't want to wake up. All right, so bulls continue in control, right? We've been watching this ascending. Bears tried to push it down. Bulls push it right back up. And clearly in a 4-hour ascending channel. So as far as the higher time frames are concerned and trend, bulls continue their lockout rally with minimal pullback allowed for the bears. See what we got here. We got this little ascending channel playing out. That's the one I captured or saw just recently on the 1-hour. Something like that's playing out literally as we speak. Yesterday we were in this range. This was the 2 or 3 trades that I took during the open with you guys. Now we're in that same range, a tighter range. So the tighter the range, the stronger the move. Are we finally gonna get a move today? Let's hope so. This range is I just highlighted this range from the overnight session. It's a tight range, about 40 points. Call it 50 points. It's been ranging there. This is the range we were playing in yesterday for the overnight session. We came into the New York Open in this wider range, and we finally broke to the downside. Took about what, 2 hours probably? 6:30, 7:30, 8:30, about an hour and a half to finally break. You had a fake out, pushed everybody right back up, and then a nice descending channel play to the downside. Yesterday, of course, I was done. I had my 3 trades during the first hour and then walked out and enjoyed the day. So no trades since. Today, I'm watching this overnight range again. It's very tight. Waiting for resolution. Are the bears going to finally take this and give a strong pullback? This is tight. This is tighter than if this range, right, which was about 80 points, call it, gave us this move after my live stream. I didn't even trade that, but we did get a 100-point move to the downside, choppy as hell, but nonetheless, 100 points, no, more than that, 780, 910, 120, 150 points, let's call it. You had that move to establish the session low or yesterday's low at around 780, and that was with this consolidation from the overnight. Now the band is even tighter. We got a tighter band. It's a 50-point range. It played out since 6 p.m. yesterday. Today might be the day to be patient and wait for the good move. The tighter the band, the stronger the move. So let's see if this is a move to the downside. I mean, at this point, you can't say it can't go up any further. Bears want some relief. Maybe today's the day. Levels that I'm looking for. Obviously, the break of this, right, that 900, 880 level, something around here. We need to find resolution. Are we going to break to the downside, close the gap, right? Gaps love to be filled, and that's where was yesterday's settlement or previous day close? 838, 839. Okay, so let's call it 840. You got some movement to the downside if we're going to close the gap and possibly continue further to test overnight low and yesterday's low. That is what I'm watching for today. No catalyst. I don't think there's any news. No news today. So we're going to rely on market to move this. Good morning to everyone. That's the game plan. Again, watching for the breakout out of this tight 50-point range, either to the upside, to the downside. We have a couple options. We can come up, test previous day high and that overnight high and fall right back down. We got the gap close to the downside. In other words, shorting, targeting that settlement, yesterday's settlement, overnight low. And if the bulls are going to continue, we can see something like this and then pop right back up. So it's going to be patience. There's no catalyst today, no news. See what the market gives us. Last couple of days, including a good part of last week, I switched to scalping and was able to get some profits that way. It's just we're not getting strong movements yet. But just when you adjust to the slow markets, it only takes one day for this thing to rip or flush insanely fast, and then forget about trying to adjust. You're back to the wild, wild west. All right, good morning to everybody. If there's anybody new to the stream, my name is JC. I stream from Arizona. My times are 3 hours behind everybody else, or New York Eastern at least. It is 6:23 here. Another day that, man, thought about waking up. Coming from a long weekend, you just want to relax and continue on sleeping. Let's see what we got here. I'll be right back, guys. All right, we got 6 minutes for the madness for the casino to open. Casino opens in 6 minutes. We got a game plan, at least some ideas in terms of place to the upside, place to the downside. We did get tempted flush here, but it held the overnight channel. King Caesar, good morning. King Caesar scalping that long. I'll scalp what I see. You guys have seen me now switching to scalping. Usually I like 40, 50 point plays, but it's just not happening at the open. That doesn't mean it's not going to change. This tight band, I really hope this brings volatility. If we got this nasty price action with this tight band coming from the overnight session yesterday, these are the 3 trades that I took yesterday, 3 scalps in the green, and then called it a day. I haven't traded since. And now it's even tighter. So hopefully this band is ready to explode, and we're going to have some directional play with momentum and strength. But it is summer trading, and we haven't seen anything but slow trading and choppy. Chop fest for sure. All right, 5 minutes. Let's set my alarm clock for my 15-minute opening range. Otherwise, I get caught yapping away and don't pay attention to 15-minute opening range. All right. Well, that's the game plan. Good morning to everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I know there's a lot of options out there and a lot of talented traders and trading shows and all that good stuff. So thanks for supporting the channel. Thanks for tuning in. And let's try to get some green. So I could see a quick move to the upside to either test this overnight high or test the top of this channel before we come back down. But again, I'm not directional biased. I'm going to be scalping. Fantasy Arabia. Good luck, brother. Rocking that straight to funded account. Nice. All right, 3 minutes for the open, and let's see what we get today. Again, we are watching this very tight band from the overnight session. Yesterday's overnight range brought us this play, ugly as hell, choppy as hell. Nonetheless, it was a 150-point play to the downside, breaking out of this overnight range. Today we have a tighter band, still somewhere, we haven't really gotten anywhere. We're still where I traded yesterday, but it's a tighter band. So the tighter the band, coming from the overnight, potential for a strong movement with a big play. So let's see what we get. Gaps love to be filled, so potential push up at the open, trap some longs up here, and then the flush down to test yesterday's close or settlement. Overnight low, previous day low numbers here. If the bulls are going to continue to rally and they're going to use this for the upside, then you might see a slight little flush down here. They keep it above 900 and then push it right back up. Go either way. VWAP's around 920. Two minutes. Casino opens in 2 minutes. Get your caffeine. Buckle up. All right, 1 minute. Casino opens in 1 minute. Hope everyone grabs some green today. You're going to get red, try to control it. Let's do this. Make sure I'm set up on my master account for copy trading. 7474, yeah. And here we go. 30 seconds. And 4, 3, 2, 1. Casinos now open. Okay. Initial push to the downside to 920. Jimmy Trades in the house. Testing that 200 SMA, initial rejection at that 200. See if there's a further push to the downside. Way too zoomed in here. Hold on, guys. Here we go. Okay, better. Still fiddling in the middle. No direction yet out of that overnight range. Attempting to break out now. Rejected there at the 200. Bounce right back up. Okay. Attempting to flush. Here we go. Trying to flush out of that overnight range. I'm going to play the bounce here from that overnight range. I'm probably only going to give it very tight. And so far unable to bounce. Ooh, I didn't like that. That was a nasty push to the downside. I may close it a little early. I didn't like that. See if that level holds, otherwise it's done. Okay. I'm bringing my stop way closer. And I did not like the fact that it failed to push above the 9, so stopped out there. Small little loss, a little paper cut there, nothing big deal. Okay, so she's going to flush. You got pivot point at 900. I'm still not convinced. I think I still have an entry on this. I think I still have a play on this long. See if she touches 900. All right, there's the flush. Pivot point touch at this point. It's a strong break below that overnight range. Pivot point right here. Will it flush or will the pivot point hold? Playing the bounce. And I gotta give myself a stop below this wick. If not, we got further downside. Nope, looks like it wants further downside today. Okay, stop. Ooh, I got stopped, and if that's the bounce, then a little too tight on that stop. So now we have to see if this is going to continue to the downside. How can I capture move? I think I'm going to use this level as the long. I'm going to let it breathe a little more this time. All depends on this area right here. If price action is not able to get back into the range, the overnight range, then yes, we have a play to the downside. It is struggling to get above the 9 and get back into that overnight range. So if we're going to flush to the downside, this is the area the bulls need to recapture for the bounce. Otherwise, we got some downside today, and I'll have to find a short. Bulls are struggling here, for sure. They're not able to get it back in. That 9 has provided resistance. Problem with my stop is I'm too close to the bottom of this channel, but I also don't want to give too many points away if it's going to flush. So I'll leave the stop. It's a little too tight. And looks like I'll have to find short now. So we're breaking out of that overnight range and below pivot point. So it's breaking below pivot point, and it just broke below the overnight range. I think there's more downside to this. Gap fill is obviously at play there. Needs to push above this area, right? It's a nice bounce, but it needs to push above the 9 and get back into the overnight range and continue to push up. If this is just plain this ascending channel, then it'll get it longs excited and then just flush right back down. Which looks like what's happening right now. All right, next level is that 200 SMA and pivot and VWAP, right? We got VWAP at 920. So if this is going to be the breakout out of this price channel, then you need to push through this pretty strongly. Otherwise, it's just playing the channel, getting some longs excited, and then comes right back down. Which that wick is no bueno. That was the first touch of the VWAP on the bounce, and the VWAP provided resistance. Let's see if there is more strength to this for the upside, or no need to long this further. Take the stop loss and try to find a short. Looks like we got more movement to the downside if we're unable to break out of this area. My stop is now compromised because my stop now is within or inside the channel. I'm not going to move it. I'm not going to give it 5 more points. I mean, if we drop this way, we drop this far, we're going to drop further down. So stop is non-negotiable at this point. I'll take the loss. Paper cut. Again, she needs to push above VWAP, and you got an area of confluence right here. You got VWAP, you got 20 SMA on the higher time frames, 200 SMA on the 15-minute. So if the bulls are going to make their move, they need the strength to push above this. Otherwise, it gets pushed right back down. There's that touch of the 20. 20 is 20, and your VWAP right there providing initial resistance. It needs strength. Let's go. But right now, bears seem to have picked up some momentum. If the bulls are really going to try to push this up, we need to see stronger movements in the upper quadrant of the overnight range versus hanging out down here and then just pushing it right back down. So it's a battle between the 20 and the 9. Obviously the 20 is stronger, providing stronger resistance. You got the 200 SMA here and not even touched yet. So bears seem to have some momentum going today. That's my alarm. 15-minute opening range in 1 minute. So is it going to be a breakout to the downside? Or are we going to climb back up? I don't know. Again, the longer we go in this little consolidation, the more my stop is compromised being in the middle of this price channel, where price can technically need to come back down to test this and then to bounce. But like I said, I'm not moving stops at this point. I'll have to take a look at the next entry. Shark Trends, good morning. Good morning, Manny. Good morning to everybody. Peter, good morning. Right now, bears seem to be trying to position. Bulls are fighting this 900 area. Bulls want to bounce right back out of 900 to possibly the top of this overnight range and continue. Bears are doing a good job holding it. We'll see. We'll see who wins. So the top of this descending or selling algo right now is the battle zone. Bears want to bring it back in. Bulls obviously want to break out of that, bring it back into overnight price range, test the high of that overnight range, and possibly come and test overnight high and yesterday's high. So let's see if the bulls can build it. Overall thinking here is the bounce of that pivot point. So far, not an impressive bounce. That 20 SMA is providing that fatal resistance right now. When I say fatal, it's only a matter of time. If the bulls are not able to push it above quickly, then you'll see the flush. At that point, my stop is now, as time progresses, is compromised right in the middle of this descending channel. Like I said, that's the price you pay for waiting in consolidation, not moving to stop at this point. If it flushes down there, there's potential for further downside. I'm not going to take a bigger loss. Struggling. 20 SMA and the 9 EMA are teaming up now to provide resistance. If they fail to get back into this area, we'll see a quick flush, and at that point I'll get stopped out and I'll have to rethink how to participate in a short if we're going to have a play to the downside. Bulls are fighting though. They need more strength. They need to get above, at this point, they need to get above 925. But every single time it just gets pushed right back down. Go straight to funded. You're scalping that range, smart man. All right, that's a good little attempt there to push above the 220 SMA. It's a nice little candle. We need to get above 925 to get out of that. Still not convinced with these bulls. They've been unable to establish themselves above 925, so we're just playing a little consolidation range here. Trapping, well, depending on the direction, it could trap to the upside, it could trap to the downside. Bulls are holding this level though. They're not allowing stronger flush below 900. Doesn't mean it can't break apart in the blink of an eye. So unable to establish themselves above the 9 and the 20, this area of confluence, you got VWAP, the 9 and the 20 providing resistance. It's an area of confluence here. Right now, bulls are not impressively pushing above that. So I think the bears are going to have another move to the downside before, if there is a move to the upside, before we push up. Yep, yesterday's settlement is around 840, so gaps love to be filled. If the bulls are unable to do it in this wave, then the bears will probably pick this right back up and play a flush towards settlement. Still unable to push above 925. VWAP becoming resistance for this move to the upside that the bulls are trying to play. Unable to establish themselves above this area. Okay, looks like they're giving up now, and then we'll see the play to the downside. It's as far as they made it to the upside, retesting pivot point. And I'll let the stop play at this point. Like I said, it's compromised now, but I'm not going to give it, I'm not moving to stop. Just tested that pivot point one more time. Bears got some selling pressure today. Not making it easy for the bulls. Bulls making another move, trying to get VWAP, trying to conquer VWAP. All right. Their next stop, if they're able to establish above 925, you're looking at the 940 area. Then you have your order players watching for that 15-minute opening range breakout. But 925 has still not been, they still haven't been able to establish themselves. It's still playing in this range, right? So until you break out of that range, it's trapping to the downside and to the upside. Chart Trends, appreciate the support, man. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. Step by step. Little guy here live streaming during the New York session. Thanks for everyone who's tuned in. I know you guys got a lot of options, a lot of talented traders out there. So thank you for tuning in. If you're new to the stream, do me a favor, help me out with the YouTube algo. Smash that like, smash that subscribe. Us little guys, we rely on likes and subscribes. So no shame asking for help. All right, so as you can see, unable to establish above 925. So all we're doing is range bound with this consolidation zone, trapping longs here, trapping shorts here until we get a play to either direction. Let's see if today we have a breakout to the upside, which is what I'm banking on. Could go either way. There's a lot of resistance. This is an area of confluence with VWAP, 200 SMA on the 15-minute. So you got a couple of areas here that the bulls are going to need to push with strength to get the move that they want, or the bears have the confluence to their advantage to push this down. We'll see. Still trappy. This is trappy action. In other words, getting people excited on the long here. It's still not breaking out of that consolidation zone that we entered right after the open. Again, unable to establish above 925, which is VWAP. VWAP is providing the fatal, at least for now, resistance. They're not able to push up pretty quickly, then you'll see a quick flush to the downside. I'll get stopped out for sure. So this needs to happen pretty quickly if the bulls want momentum to the upside. Otherwise, bears have the advantage in terms of these resistance levels. $9.25, still unable to establish. Bulls are pushing, they're stair-stepping it. But bears take the elevator down, boys. Not convinced yet on this bounce. We'll see. Struggling for 925. And that's what I said. Bulls stair step it, bears take the elevator down. So if there is failure then here, then I'll get stopped out and I'll have to figure out a way. If the worst that can happen here for me is I get stopped out, and that's the pivot point bounce. We saw that yesterday. I think it was like 2 or 3 times before the actual bounce played out. It's a timing thing, but I'm not taking a stronger or a higher, I'm not moving my stop just to capture that bounce. Any failure below this or hitting my stop, I don't think we have a bounce in play. I think there's going to be continuation to the downside, and I'll have to figure out how to participate to the downside. It failed to establish above 925, so at this point, I don't think the bulls have a play, but let's see what happens down here at the bottom of this range. Are they just going to push it right back up, or is this finally the flush to the downside? Looking like a strong flush to the downside. Let's see. Bears now trying to flush below. Bulls trying to keep control of 900. But not doing a great job. All right, there comes the next leg to the downside. Then I'll have to figure out how to participate on a move or a short now to the downside. It's a strong break. Let me see if there's no bounce, and I'll participate on this 50-minute opening range breakout to the downside. What I don't want to do is get trapped here, and then we get the bounce that I was looking for, but let's see. Playing that 50-minute opening range. The worst thing that can happen to me here is I get trapped, and then the bounce that I was looking for plays out, and that's NQ fashion. That's what NQ does. And looks like it trapped me nicely. And I'll have to probably, let's see. Now I'm switching to the 50-minute opening range breakout to the downside, but it looks like it trapped. That's the NASDAQ. Nasty NASDAQ. Caught me on that trap. All right, this is what I'm watching for. It just touched the 9. Is the 9 going to continue to provide resistance, or was this the liquidity sweep it needed to finally push up? And at that point, that trade is toast. Let's see if this is a break to the downside for the bears. And bears need to hold now the bottom of this range for the continued push to the downside and obviously target settlement. Jimmy Trades, I'm in with you on this 15-minute opening range breakout to the downside, but it looks like it trapped me. We'll see. Oh yeah, looking like a trap. All right, now this is where I got to make decisions in terms of clipping it. If we push above pivot point and this area, then I gotta call it quits. That's why I'm leaving it with a manual stop, just so I can. Yeah, this is not looking good. This looks like your classic NQ trap that I fell for it. But giving it some breathing room. If we come back into this area, establish above the 9 and the 20, I gotta clip it at that point. Got trapped and gotta take the loss. Gotta accept it. I'm wrong. All right, a little bit of resistance that I'm looking for at the 9. Needs to pick up speed though. But be careful with a nasty bounce with this price action here. It can't flush, and you'll see a strong bounce. Needs to flush pretty quickly. All right, no flush, and looks like that's the bounce. Again, watching this 9 EMA. It's able to position above that. I got to clip it. It's going to continue on this break below for the 15-minute open range breakout and below the pivot point, then may have a move all the way down to like 840 previous day close overnight low area. Still dreamy at best right now. Nope. See if bears can pick up more momentum to this play to the downside. Nope. Choppy. Choppy. I am watching this descending channel forming. It looks like it's basing around 870, which is no good for my short. And again, I'll have to decide if we establish above the 9 and come back into this overnight range, then I got to accept that I'm wrong on this one and flip it. No need to drag a losing trade that long. Shopping. This is where the bulls want to establish above the 9 and finally get their position above the 20 SMA. Bears need to continue to use that as their push to the downside. Indecision. Ooh, that's no good. So if they establish above the 20, then the short is toast. Give me trades. Nicely done, brother. Bears now unable to push below this level. which would put us in a nasty price range with a lot of chop. Indecision. Bulls are attempting to regain 900. If they start picking up momentum here, then I'll have to clip this trade. Being patient on the bear flag, consolidation to the downside, but this could be it for the bears, and then the bulls pick it from here. It's choppy as hell. Bulls pushing. That's not good. Now we're established above the resistance areas. I'm going to have to clip this. We get back into range, in other words, the overnight range. I'm done, I'm toast, I gotta clip it. If the bottom of that overnight range is resistance, then still alive, but if we close in that range, I gotta close the trade. Ugh. It's not what I wanted. And they get back into range. So they just came up, tested the pivot point. Will they use the pivot point as the resistance area and bring it back down? Or are they going to now push above pivot point and start their move up? With this chop, I'm not interested in DCAing or adding. I'm just hoping we get momentum in either direction, so I can either close the trade or I can continue to stay in it. He's pushing. All right, so they came, tested pivot point, tested the bottom of that range, and at least for now, we're getting initial rejection. See if there's strength to this to the downside. They use this low now as just a test, and now we're just testing the bottom of this ascending channel, and that's not good for the short either. Right, we were in this descending channel, and now the breakout is this. So a couple things not working in my favor on this short. And chopping. All right. Refusing to break out of this ascending channel, refusing to break below that 870 area on this wave. Coming to test pivot point again. At this point, I got to watch for this channel, how extended it's going to be and how much drawdown I want to take. So I'm using a manual stop. So unable to give a stronger break on that 50-minute opening range breakout to the downside, at least so far. Doing what it's been doing all week, in and out of these little channels and just teasing everybody. Just locks you in. It's a see profit, take profit phase. Boom, 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 in and out of channels. It's nasty price action. All right, that's the momentum there. If we're going to get a break to the upside now, this is looking strong. Bulls are building their case. It's a nasty price action right there. In and out of channels. Indecision down here. Not making it easy in either direction. Nasty price action. Whenever you see in channel, out of channel, in channel, out of channel, that's not good. This will probably be my last trade. If it goes sour, then I'll take the loss, but that's price action that is not cool. See what happens at the bottom of this channel. Tested it, bounce. Unable to flush below that 870 area. Okay, there's the flush, or attempt. Otherwise, it just tested the bottom of this channel, then it'll come right back up, and that'll be nasty. At that point, I'll have to set a stop and call it a day. Nasty. Nasty NASDAQ. All right, now we're hitting that 860 area, which is a bounce area. At this point, I'm banking on a flush below that for previous day close to close the gap. If we bounce here, it's unfortunate my play is done. That would be the bounce of that pivot point at 860. So I'm hoping, I'm counting that there's more to the downside here. Needs to flush. It's going to continue. It needs to give a nice push, not the bounce at 860. So far, it's playing that bounce on that pivot point. Bears need to hold and push with one big homeless candle to the downside. Otherwise, the bulls grab this pivot point and bounce it. Come on, Bears. Show us what you got. It's a pivot point. That's technically a bounce area. So Bears need to flush. They're going to have their day. They can't let that pivot point hold. They need to flush it. Bulls, on the other hand, they're saying, all right, this is it. We bounce here. Flush it to the downside. Choppy and ugly at best, man. It's nasty price action. All right, there's the bounce at 860. See if it's going to hold or stay within this descending channel that they're. Ooh, that's a boner candle. That's not good. Ooh, not good. I'm going to have to accept this bounce somewhere around here now. Be established above the 20. Ugly price action, no matter how you look at it. All right, they are using that pivot point, the 860 area, as potential bounce area. Bears were unable to flush below that, which is what I wanted. I got to make decisions now above this 20 SMA. If the bulls establish above that, then yeah, game over. This is the bounce, and we try to participate now to the upside, or just be aware of this nasty chop and call it a day. Now the 9 is providing support. So if this is the flip area or the bounce area, and the bulls finally establish themselves above the 20, then I got to clip this trade. Pretty soon. Looking like a pivot point bounce now. I'm clipping that. And let's wait for the next setup or call it a day. They're back in range, in the overnight range. Let's see what happens at this pivot point. They came back all the way to test 890 of the 900 area. Looking like a strong bounce, man. I think I'm going to participate now to the upside. But let's wait for a pullback. Wow, strong bounce. They're back in that overnight range. Crazy price action. Crazy push right back to the overnight range. I would have think the bulls from here are going to take it. It's just how much do I want to participate on this move to the upside without a pullback? Like a pullback first. So break a structure right there. Wow. All right, I'm going to see if they can continue above the 200 SMA. There'll be resistance right there. In other words, the break above 200 SMA, or it'll just fall apart right there and give us another pullback. With this momentum, I'm looking for a strong push above 200 to get out of this overnight range, and then they can continue their way up. But this is a resistance area. It could fall apart right here. But with this strength, they got some action. This is the test at 200 SMA. Otherwise, this is a crazy range-bound day, and it'll come back right back down. At that point, I'm done. That's the final trade. Take a loss day. So if this is the play to break out of the overnight range, I'm trying to capture it at the bottom of this overnight range for a push up, above and out. If this is the high of this wave, right, we just hit the 200 SMA, and then we'll see resistance. We got VWAP at 907. I'll have to see what happens around here, that the 90 MA VWAP. If that level doesn't hold, then it's a crazy chop day. I think I've taken enough losses and call it a day. Still not significant, not anywhere close to my daily loss limit, but a little more of a loss day than I wanted to. Happens. Sometimes you're in sync, sometimes you're completely off. So this is the resistance area. You got 200 SMA on higher time frames. That's why we're seeing it stall here. I'm longing the breakout of this based on this market strength. It broke the structure to the downside down here. So we are getting a play to the upside. I'm potentially looking at the break out of the overnight range to test previous day high, overnight high. Probably take some green there and figure out what this thing wants to do. If it's going to be a range bound day, then you'll come back here or this area and then come right back down. That other JC, what's going on, brother? All right, so again, we obviously failed to break below that 850. There was a pivot point at 860, and we bounced. Once we got back into the overnight range, long the bottom of it so that I can have a decent stop somewhere around the 900 or 880. Now I'm playing the break out of the overnight range, and I got to get something. In other words, if I'm going to play this, I want to get some good points out of this. Otherwise, we come test the top of this overnight range and come right back down, and it's a range-bound day. And at this point, I'm frustrated. I'll call it a day. Go straight to funded. You're killing it with your scalps. Nicely done. Are we done pumping? I don't know. We just hit resistance area. This is a strong area of resistance. This was the top of that overnight range. If the bulls want to get their play to the upside today, they got to break out of this. Otherwise, we're just range bound. This is the critical area. Are we going to get out of this overnight range for a true play to the upside, or just a range-bound day? Don't get excited on any big move. It's going to go right back up or right back down. See if bulls have more to this today. They need to break out of this area. Definitely squeeze these shorts out. And looking like just range and come right back down. So resistance here at that 200 SMA. And the bulls hold this and continue to push up. And no momentum. Right back down. Unfreaking believable. Nasty chop. And that's looking like all the bulls got today. So another range day. Missed this nice move. Probably the only clean move for the day or for the morning session. And let's see if bulls have more to them. Otherwise, I'm calling it a day. Nope. So they made it all the way up to the 200 SMA on the higher time frames. Actually, the 1 minute, the 5, and the 15, it's hovering around the same area. Let's see if they can hold this for the upside, or this is pretty much the end of this move to the upside and right back down. was a strong bounce, about 50 point, well, 50, strong bounce in today's market, price action about 50, 70 points. Are they going to give it up right there? A crazy, yep, they are. Crazy price action. All right, not my day. Calling it. See if that's a sweep, a liquidity sweep for the bounce, or there's continuation to the downside on this. Some crazy chop. That was a 20, 30 point candle. Wow. Short trade. You got that trade. Yeah, you were shorting that, right? To VWAP or something? Let's see if VWAP holds. Otherwise, not my day. King Caesar making the right move. You got some green and you're walking out. Crazy price action. See if bulls can push above this. Otherwise, I am calling it a day. This one. What you gonna do, NASDAQ? Trapping everywhere. Thing wants to push down. It's crazy. Wow. All right, I got to do the right thing. Accept that I'm wrong. And if we come to this area, stops me out, and I call it a day. Just chopped up today. Chopped up. These are 150Ks accounts, so they're nowhere close to my personal daily loss limit, but taking a bigger loss than I wanted to for the day. And it's one of those days where I just got to call it. It happens. No need to push it further. Start cleaning this up. Appreciate you, King Caesar. All right, guys, looks like I'm going to get stopped out, and that'll be my call to get the hell out of here. No need to take a bigger loss today. Got some nice red today, got me good. Trapped me a couple times today, and that's what NQ does. So do me a favor, if you're enjoying the content, smash that like, smash that subscribe. We'll be back tomorrow, 9:15 a.m. Eastern. Hopefully try to capture some green. But today, got me good. Got me good. Very, very little momentum, and it's clearly a see profit, take profit day. You can go up 70 points, and it's going to come right back down and take it away. All right, guys, have a good one. That's it. That's all I got for today, and I will see you tomorrow.